was really scared, right? You're early in your career, you don't really have footing in the job, let alone the professional world. I risked potentially staying stagnant in my role or even getting fired. I chose to reject my manager's feedback, and that's how everything changed. I grew up immersed in technology. I was born and raised in the Silicon Valley. My dad was a serial entrepreneur and then a CEO. So really our dinner table conversations and everything we did was around the latest tech, venture capital, what was new, the new hot product. So it was really part of my day-to-day. My second job out of college, I was an analyst in strategy and tech. Strategy sits in a really unique position where you can intellectually engage with the big questions that the business is facing. I found this to be an exciting job, an opportunity to kind of speak up, ask some tough questions. I think so much of what I brought to work was my personality. I'm a people person, so really working with people, bringing out their strengths. And, you know, I'm bubbly. I take up some space in a room, and I think that's part of who I really am. Going into my first performance review, it was a bright, sunny day, and that really reflected how I was feeling. I was excited, had a little pep in my step. I had had a great quarter, and my work product was really solid. So I went in pretty confident and really excited. The conversation started with my manager kind of being like, this was good, this was good. Pretty soon thereafter, he told me something along the lines of, hey, Megan, you know, as a young woman in tech, you really don't need to be everyone's best friend. I think you should be less bubbly and really put your head down and do the work. As you can imagine, I was shocked. My jaw was on the floor. My head was spinning. It's not what I was expecting at all. I was really low for the first week or so. I was sad, demoralized, and also confused. There were several days where I kind of had to do some hard thinking. I think really what it came down to was he was happy with the work I was producing, but didn't like how I was showing up. I was the girl in every meeting, speaking up, being contrarian. I think he wanted what was best for me. He was just constrained to his own worldview, a world in which taking up space was breaking the rules. A few weeks after my review was a pretty senior level meeting. I was the most junior person in the room. There was debate going. I had thoughts. I had something to say. And in real time, I had to decide, do I show up how I want to show up, or do I show up how I was told to show up? The stakes were super high. I risked potentially staying stagnant in my role or even getting fired as I was choosing to reject direct feedback. And I was really scared, right? You're early in your career, you don't really have footing in the job, let alone the professional world. And I went with my gut. I showed up how I wanted to show up, asked a great question, asked a hard question, and the president of the company was in the room, and he expressed his support of the direction I was taking the conversation. It ultimately resulted in the president asking me to present to a board of directors of a Fortune 500 company at, I want to say, not even 25. I was thrilled. It kind of felt like a validation of every decision I had made professionally. Nothing would have changed if I had followed the rules. From that moment on, it really catapulted, right? I went to business school because of it. I decided I wanted to be an executive leader in the space, and I found out that that's something I'm good at. I will say that increasingly brands are looking for a reduction in barriers. I think when we really look at feedback, there's style versus substance. If you have substantive feedback on the work product, take it, iterate, get better. But if it's stylistic in a way that questions your authenticity, limits you being you, I think that's where you really need to think about whether that's feedback that you want to take to heart.